Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to another week of racing here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. I guess it's not really the start of the week since we did have... Oh, it is. No Sunday racing. See, I'm already drawing a blank. My mind is on Christmas. How can you fault me? I think everybody's excited for a few days to spend some time against some loved ones and some families, and hopefully Santa Claus can reward many people with lots of gifts and potentially winning wagers here tonight as well. I'm going to be here in studio alongside my co-host, the Hall of Famer, Randy Waples. Randy, good to have you back, buddy. Hope you've been feeling a little bit better, especially with Christmas time approaching in a couple of days too.
Yeah, you never really want to, get down and sick or anything, before Christmas. But things seem to be a little bit better tonight, and I'm kind of like looking forward to it. There, I haven't worked since last Monday, so it's been a week for me.
Yeah, we come into studio though, and we've got our attire, and obviously, us being the VIPs that we are, we obviously get all our attire covered and whatnot, and they give me the Grinch Christmas sweater, and then they give you that one. I thought it was supposed to be the other way around. But.
No. This is a Chad Rosema original right here, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And, I don't know what this cost him, but I'll tell you, I wouldn't have this nice of a sweater in my closet. I'm not kidding you. I mean, this is like one of his jokey sweaters or whatever. This is better than any material I own.
His arsenal's deep.
It
his
is.
Christmas arsenal.
It is.
It's very, very deep.
It is.
He showed up here with his Christmas sweater. We said, you know what? Let's follow the leader. Let's
follow the
suit,
leader.
right?
Yeah.
Chad likes to get a little bit festive before the last show.
You
before
always
Christmas.
try to do what your elders
Exactly.
do,
I just follow the lead. That's it.
I just follow my elders.
Exactly. And obviously, again, with that Christmas sweater, though, I just got to catch up with the lingo and some of those pop culture references. Because I'm behind the eight ball there.
Listen, nobody out there is going to believe this, but I swear on this, okay? So far, John Rawls has not seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yep.
I mean, now I can hear the roars coming from out in TV land right now. What would make a young guy like you, never see Christmas Vacation? I mean, it's got to be the #1 Christmas movie of all time.
I'm just a big sports junkie. That's
Really?
what it is. Just love my sports. No, wasn't really a big movie buff until maybe a few years ago. Now I'm just deep into the movies.
Do me a favor, but Christmas Eve, if you're at home, which you're all over the place, but if you're at home, watch that movie. You will love it.
I will.
Yeah.
I will. I want to, obviously.
Then
be
you'll
in
know
tune.
where all the sayings come from.
Then I'll know where all the sayings are coming from. Exactly. So I'll make sure to add that to my bucket list as well. But first things first, I think we want to have a great night from a wagering standpoint, though, here, because I think this is a really good card on this Monday night program. 12 races. It's always good to stuff your stocking on the card before Christmas.
With 3 pick fives.
3 pick fives as well. So we're going to be dark for a few days before our matinee Boxing Day program, one that we always look forward to. Obviously, the high five, the jackpot high five mandatory did get pushed to Saturday. We'll touch on that later on as well. But again, just plenty to look forward to here tonight, and a card that I was really, really intrigued with. But before we touch on tonight's program, though, Randy, we should take a look back on Saturday night. And the win was a bit of a factor, though. I mean, there was horses that really struggled winning on the front end. I think a couple of horses were game and victory on the engine, PL Ozzy being one of them. Miss Quicksand. I mean, I don't think you put her on top. I didn't have her on top. I know you've been a big fan of that mare, but she took advantage of a good draw to work with. But she got pounded to the tune of 3-5 and just jogged on Saturday night. She's sharp right now.
She is so good right now. I mean, she really has her on the game, and it looks like Carmen Auciello had himself a good night with the 3-banger.
Yeah, Carmen Auciello, obviously, I think he's got some live ones here tonight
Did
as
you
well.
happen to hear why? Like, I put Moving On Over on top. You had him on top,
I think I had him in for second.
Okay, did you hear why he made the break the week before?
No, I just think, you know what? I just think maybe it had something to do with maybe the hopples being, they adjusted the hopples the other day. But you know what? He's never looked comfortable getting around the turns at any point in some of those last few efforts. But it's the straightaway. He's just so fast.
He's so incredibly
fast. He flaunted that speed yet again. But
I was kind of hoping that maybe somebody, had heard, because it was a bad break, like it was a dirty break, and just out of nowhere, and he doesn't usually do it,
Yeah, it doesn't look all that comfortable in some of his starts, though. But again, when he can survive that last turn and hit the straightaway, he can fly. But speaking of flying, how about Grit and Grace? Post 10 last time out showed a different dimension. And she just, I mean, right now we see her on the lead, but Jody just power moved to the lead in this spot, and she just did the rest. I think, you know what, we never see her racing from off the pace, Randy. I think she's maybe even better chasing horses.
Oh, I think she's, I think she's pretty deep either way, to tell you the truth, But The horse that I picked in here, he made a bad break or something, Style for a Mile, scattered the field.
Absolutely.
That's who I had in front. I thought Style for a Mile was getting ready for a big effort there, but obviously not. But yeah, Grit and Grace, when she's on her game, right from the 10 hole to boot, but when she's on her game, she's tough.
And congrats to her and Mike Witnowski and the owners. Obviously, she's a O'Brien Award finalist. A heck of a transition from H3 to H4. She's had a huge season. But we've seen the success from Pollock Racing and the charges that he sent here to Ontario and Dave Maneri's barn. It's Saturday night, made a few moves in victory, Randy, and this was a huge effort. Yeah, I think Miraculous Desby hung a little bit because we've seen that from him in the past, but to make 3 moves and get the job done for its Saturday night, what a huge effort.
It was a really big effort, no doubt about that, but, this 2-horse there, I'm really starting to wonder just how bad he wants to win. Higher up. He might be able to annihilate them down in, the cheaper classes, but it seems to me that when he gets up and against some of the better ones there, he looks for an excuse not to put his nose out in front on the end of it.
Wonder if we're going to see him on the engine next time out, right? Because that's a couple of instances where it just doesn't seem like he wants to go buy a couple of horses. But he should have, off that trip, he should have jogged.
And the way he looked halfway down the lane, he just looked like James was just getting ready to unleash him. And then when he did ask him, it just, he just gets up beside that last horse and stays there.
It's not often you see a driver book off a horse that looks like the likely winner in a race, especially the race favorite. But J.R. Plante, he booked off Miraculous Desby to take Bruno. No. I don't know if you noticed him in amongst rivals. They're absolutely loaded. I think it speaks volumes of just how much J.R. really likes driving Bruno. No. And that Cabby Sasso trainee, they've been a perfect pairing, and I'm excited to see what he can do as a 4-year-old as well.
Yeah, and the big thing with him as well is the fact that the way that JR's racing him, whether he likes driving him or not, I'm sure that he does, but the way that he's racing him with a few of these locked-in journeys, or when he does get out, it's deep into the lane, it's only going to make him better and better. Between the two of them, between Gabby and between JR and between Bruno, they're turning this horse into, an open kind of a pacer.
Yeah, and he's just so much more confident. He can do just about anything now. Remember, you would have to worry about him gapping the car, working out a good trip. JR started leaving with him, and he responded quite well. So they've done a great job with him. I know he's, obviously some patient approaches throughout his young career, and now he's just ready to tackle on tougher company, and he's racing really well. So nice to see that effort from him on Saturday night, and curious to see if we're going to continue to see more of him before the calendar turns to 2026. But we also had some qualifiers here this morning. Randy, I believe it was earlier on today. We had a few of them, and let's take a look at some of these qualifiers, and we're going to get a chance to see qualifier number 1, lane side in control, getting the job done here. This last time we saw him race was September 19th, so a solid showing from him this morning.
Yeah, no, and I got a feeling, like I wasn't out there, but I got a feeling it was pretty cold out there, because she sure was cold early this morning in Guelph, and it looks cold out there. It looks cold and it looks windy. If I'm not mistaken, is that a Mr. Malik Smith coming on the outside? Did he qualify in here? This is what Malik looks like. He sits in a bike pretty good, Yeah, I like that. Seems to fit right in pretty good in between those two other guys.
I would have to say, nice effort by his charge as well. And we're going to look at the qualifier number 2. We're going to see a Devastate, who's going to be making his first appearance since January 3rd. And going to get a chance to see what this, I believe it's a Mark Etzel charge is Devastate. And I think this is Mark angling him off the pocket. And he's going to do the rest from here. He looked pretty comfortable, though. He's got some talent, though, Randy, but he's got some quirks. But he's always shown flashes of speed and talent in his career.
Yeah, no doubt about that. But, Etzel just does such a great job getting these horses fit, ready to race, bringing them in the way that he does. And this is like, I'm not even going to call it 2 separate races. This is like about 7 separate races. Look at the difference between second and third in there, Wow.
And this is a qualifying victory here for the Feast, one that we're going to get a chance to see on the Saturday night program as well. I can't remember what race he's going to be in, but nevertheless, this is his showing this morning, and I think he's going to be coming into Saturday night's event, sharp.
Yeah, looking good out there as well. Who trains this one? Is this a Murner? Pereira?
I think it is a Murner charge.
Okay.
I want to say it is, or maybe.
Yeah, interesting kind of a way of going, this guy. But looks like he's got lots there, and James is comfortable on the end of it, and 7 horse got a little bit of pop on the end of it too. Cool.
All right, some qualifiers that I'll probably have to take a second look back on, a second or third look to kind of just get a closer look especially with some of these horses coming up on some of these upcoming programs as well. But it's also Monday. We got to do some stats and standings like we always do. And let's take a look at this driver's board. Randy, curious to see what kind of names we're going to see up on screen. I know we had some new faces, a couple of new faces last week from the training and driving standpoint. But you have to figure it's going to be some familiar faces that we've been accustomed to seeing. And James McDonald leading the way yet again with a 10-win week last time out. And Doug McNair and Louis Waugh and Travis Collin, not much separating those three. They had really good weeks as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're just, it just seems like they're on coast right now, though, eh? They've had great years, these guys, and now they're just kind of coasting through it and reset January 1. I always liked that as a driver, that reset on January 1. Unless I was having a really good year, then I didn't want it to end. But if it was like just an average year, I love that reset.
And all four of these guys, though, having great years.
Oh,
all
huge.
four of them, right? Again, so congrats to and Louis Waugh and James McDonald, a couple of O'Brien Award finalists for the Driver of the Year category. I know James looking for his 5th consecutive
There's 3
Driver
this
of the
year,
Year.
though, isn't
3.
it?
And
And
Bob
Bob?
McClure also
Yeah.
making that list. Bob had a really good season, right? Especially from a provincial standpoint and some Grand Circuit events too, specifically being the Bojangles. But a really, a quietly good year.
That's the whole thing. Like, he did it very, very quietly, and even though he was driving an undefeated 2-year-old that could potentially be Horse of the Year, still did it on the sly.
Absolutely, and congrats to Bojangles, speaking of which, was announced as the Dan Patch Award winner for the 2-year-old Pacing Colt division. So I think something we expected anyways.
When does the Horse of the Year, does that go
the
up
night
the
of
night
the banquet? Yeah. So
okay.
Horse of the Year, Trotter of the Year, and Pacer of the Year all announced that same night.
Ooh,
So
look at this
Trainer of the
rogues
Year,
gallery.
we get a couple of O'Brien Award finalists as well. Congrats to Jody Cullen.
Fantastic.
I thought it was going to be a coin flip between her and Kyle Fellows, both of which had great seasons. But nice to see Jody Cullen recognized because, again, she's had a fantastic season, but it's not the only time she's had a fantastic year. She's had plenty of good seasons, and they do a lot of hard work.
That's the big thing why you can really, really cheer for them is because, boy, oh boy, they really, really work hard.
And Carmen Osceola, we saw him with 3 wins on Saturday night. He makes the board here as well. And Gary Murner's barn. There was a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, where he had a little bit of a lull period.
Yeah.
And now it's starting to heat right back up again, as you mentioned. And Dave Benary, again, just unleashing yet another, fresh Pollock racing charge, and it's Saturday night. Lots of talent, lots of speed for him, and he was able to put it on display in what was a big-time winning effort. So there's a look at some stats and standings now, and let's dig in right into tonight's action. 12 races on this Monday night program. As I mentioned, Randy, I'm a really big fan of this program tonight. And this is a tough way to kick off the early pick 5 sequence. A field of 10, a couple of notable driver changes as well. I don't know if they were going to be factored in as win candidates tonight per se, Patriarch Hanover and Royalty Beer, but I think these are a couple of trotters who have been racing well. Curious to know, though, what direction did you go here in the opener?
I didn't use anybody outside of the 8.
Okay.
That's about the... I have so many horses on here that made my watch list, that I'm not using. I'm not using Devil's Arch, not going to use Dahlquist Hanover, not using Patriarch Hanover, who I had locked in live in his last start in behind Devil's Arch, and I'm not going to be using Royalty Beer, even though you can see what he's doing over at Flamborough when J.F. Maguire does bring this guy over here. He usually makes quite a good account of himself. 16 wins this year, but won't be using him. Where I'm going to go is Ghostly Casper. Okay. That's the way I like the, I'm looking at it as a Benoit Bergeron exactor in here. I'm going Ghostly Casper onto our Peaky Blinders. I thought our Peaky Blinders was really good last 2 starts, but I also like the first over effort by Ghostly Casper in his last. So let's take a look at Ghostly Casper's last effort. Blinkers to blind bridle change for this guy tonight. He was a beaten favorite last week, but again, he did have to come first over. He's been drawing horrible. Had the 9-hole, his first start here, then a 10-hole, 8-hole last week, 7-hole this week. But I mean, after what he's been drawn, this is exactly what he needed. And like I said, I just think he was out there too long. He been kind of like a little bit of sporadic racing, October the 23rd to November the 30th. Missed about a month there. Since then, he's had 2 starts back. I think that this 3rd start is about basically what I've been looking for. And he changed the bridle on him, which I like that because at this point here, I think that the horse should have been second and he didn't. And that kind of bothered me. But he is going to send a bridle change on this guy, and I'm going to take a chance with Ghostly Casper. Biggest reason being, John, I'm a big guy on form,
Okay.
but I'll also say this. I think that if you put all these horses on their best form, I say Ghostly Casper's the best one.
I wouldn't disagree with you when he's on his A game. And maybe you can throw new rules in that potential mix as well. But I tell you what, I don't know what to make of Ghostly Casper, given the fact that he wasn't able to finish off his mile 2 starts back. But as you mentioned, maybe just needed that start to get himself acclimated yet again. But this is a horse you're getting double digits on here tonight. But Tyler Board got a chance to sit behind Ghostly Casper last time out. He got a chance to sit behind RPK Blinders over his last couple of tries. I really like the way this 4-year-old gelded son of Cadabra has been racing as of late. And for whatever reason, though, Randy, I mean, when it's Louis Waugh, when he's aboard him, we see a little bit more gate speed. When Tyler Borth is aboard him, we see him race really, really well, but an off-the-pace approach usually when he's aboard. So Ben elected to list Louis Waugh on RPK Blinders, and the last time that they were paired up together at this very same class, he was a jog burger at a short number. So he's taking some support. Post 8's going to be tricky, though. I think that's the thing tonight. I'm not sure where he's going to be able to get away because there should be plenty of speed to his inside tonight.
I agree. I think that there's going to be lots of speed, but I also think that they're going to pause for a moment going out of there because I think in a way you kind of have to know what the plan is with Dahlquist Hanover. For a couple of reasons. Number one, he can bottom a field out, which is exactly what he did again last week. He just goes incredible 3/4 and they can't catch him and he can bottom them out. But what he can also do too, though, is that if somebody tries to stay with them, he will tire them out. He will have them down at the half in 55 seconds. You know what I mean? So he's kind of a funny horse down on the inside. I'm not going to use him in here, but to me, he's dangerous. The way I want to see it go is more or less the way John just said. I want to see Louis come out of there with RPK Blinders because I think that Tyler Borth going from blinkers to a blind with Ghostly Casper will also be coming out of there. And I want the Bergeron sitting 1-2. That's the way I hope it comes out and Ghostly Casper gets the 2-hole trip.
All right, a good group of trotters here in race number 1 and kick off this early pick 5 sequence. We're going to fast forward to race number 2 here in the spot. That's going to be the second part of that late double. More trotters, but this one's a little bit tricky, right? We've got a maiden class here, Randy. Ty Game, we're going to get a chance to see him yet again. I know we got a chance to watch him on December 8th and what was a solid effort. Then he was a transportation scratch on December 15th. He's going to start from the far outside. He's going to take plenty of looks. And I think this is a horse that's definitely deserving of it in this particular spot.
Where'd you go?
I think I went to the rail starter, Stormont Full of Life. I actually, you know what, I didn't mind that effort from him last time out.
Nice first over effort. One of his better ones, too. You know, I went Ty Game. Let's take a look at the replay. I was going to go Ty Game on December the 15th. I love this race, but then he was scratch transportation. Coming out of the Pereira barn, you know, I think that Joe's going to have a good mile into him. I think the fitness is going to be there for Ty Game. So I like him in here. I think he's one of the few ones that, you know, shows a bit of a pulse. Some of the other ones I'm just kind of waiting on right now. Like I said, I love Stormont Full of Life, that last trip that he went in there, but draws the rail, not sure where he's going to get away. You can see James keeps coming forward with this one. I think that's Shampoo Girl up on top. It's either that's Ellis Island up on top. He's not going to be able to get to him, but Ellis Island raced good before that, raced good after that. I thought it was a good effort. Spent a lot of time on the outside, James. And like I said, I got a feeling Joe's probably got a fast mile into him. And I think he's as good in here as anybody, especially with McDonald sticking.
And the board is split between the Stormont Full of Life as well as Ty Game between the board of handicappers, I should say. Look, I've liked Stormont Full of Life's efforts in late October as well as mid-November. Just the miscues were a little bit troublesome for me, but we did see him add a pair of trotting hopples in that qualifying effort. I thought he responded well to it and then followed it up, like you said, with a really good second place effort to Industrialist. So hopefully that piece of equipment can continue to keep him trotting. And I think he's going to be able to take another step forward here tonight because he took a lot of air in that contest, Randy. It was a sharp effort.
Yeah, he did. He raced good. But that's what kind of scares me a little bit, though, is where does he get away?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it just bothers me a little bit sometimes with the rail, especially with a horse that's just kind of starting to kind of get good. Don't know how hard Phil's going to want to push out of there.
All right, race 2 is going to be a tricky one. I think a lot of looks are going to go to Ty Game off that second place effort on December 8th. But again, just tough to trust maiden trotters. We're going to move on to race number 6. That's going to kick off that mid-pick 5, as Randy mentioned. We've got 3 of them. More trotters of the maiden variety here, though, Randy. Another non-winners of 1 class, a field of 9, and morning line favorites going to be resolved issues. This is one that I would just say, you know what, I'll let him beat me.
Yeah.
I think he can put forth a good effort. I just don't see a horse that typically wants to maybe get there as of right now. But I think there's some other ones that provide some intrigue. And I think that's mostly towards the from the center towards the inside of the gate.
Yeah, I look at Resolved Issues as a horse that I just don't trust right now. I think that there's talent, and he's starting to show that talent. He's getting, sporadically getting a little bit better each time, but still not enough to me that I'm going to, recommend him and put him up on top. So where I decided to go is a horse that is 0 for 22, John.
Okay.
And that's Dulcis Sueños Deo. This one here. I like this horse. Been racing really, really good. Been racing good all along. It's had 6 thirds, 1 second in the 16 starts, 2 thirds last year in the 6 starts as well. But in my opinion, since October the 30th, both starts in November and the race in December, little bit better even than it was before. So I really think this one's kind of trending into something. So we're going to show you the replay on Dulcis Sueños Deo's last start. That's the 3 horse, but we're also going to get a chance to see the 4 horse in this race too. And right now, this 2-year-old trotting filly of Julie Walker's is getting really sneaky on the end of it. But she's sneaky because they're not doing anything with her. And that scares me the first time that they want to do something. Is that going to leave her a little bit, tired on the end of it? So, again, here we can see Mike with Dulcis Sueños Deo on the outside. Now, watch the horse on the inside with Burt Renault with the red ear hood on. She was what I consider to be sneaky good on the inside. Right there, he gives her a little tap and she moves forward on the run out. You can see on the run out, again, looks powerful on the end of it. But even though he's in a good spot, to me, for him to take this race down with Antonella, he has to spend either a lot of time on the outside or he's got to, go out of there with her. If he goes out of there with her, it adds a different dimension. Now she's all of a sudden, she's had to do something early and now she's going to have to do something late too. Don't know if she's quite at that. So I'm going to use her as part of my ticket, but the 3 is the way that I'm going to go in here. The one that scares me the most is check out the lines on the 8 horse, the Hitman Heart. Nice qualifier, and if you watch this qualifier, trust me, it's a good one. He's quite a ways out of it, Andre Goyce, with this horse, and this horse makes up a ton of ground right on the end of it. And look what he did. Didn't race at all this year as a 3-year-old, but as a 4-year-old, he did have 4 starts, and look what he was doing and who he was racing against. He was racing golds down there. His last gold, he finished 5th in there, trotted a mile in 57-3, and against You Got It Kemp, Call Me Parker, Shutter Green, nice horses like that. Now he's missed all that time, comes back with the 1 qualifier under his belt, with a guy that doesn't usually do a lot of catch driving in Andre Goyce, but yet he's going to make the journey in here tonight to go with the Hitman Heart. I say that the Hitman Heart, who I have in for 3rd, is dangerous in here.
Definitely enticing, without a doubt. He's a wild card because he was, we expected some good things from him as a rookie. Never got a chance to see him as a sophomore, and he's coming off that lone qualifying effort. Don't know what to make of him, though. Hasn't raced in quite some time, just the 1 qualifying effort. That's why I opted to leave him off my ticket tonight, but definitely one that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Checkmaster, though, you've got him underneath.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go off as the race favorite in this spot. That was a really, really good effort last time out. Stayed at it, and he made up a lot of ground. I know you highlighted Ty Games' effort. That was him motoring on the end of
on
it
the outside.
On the outside. So this Herb Holland charge, I think, is going to take a lot of support, deservedly so. And if he minds his manners, he's going to be a big-time threat.
Bit of a stale date,
6.
though.
Okay.
Yeah, for me anyway.
A couple of weeks off without a doubt. All right, we're going to move on to race number 7. We've got some 8 claimers here in this spot. We've got a horse dropping down in class back at this level. Should be a single. I didn't single him. I didn't single him only because I figured to myself, I'm going to go singles on the back end of my mid-pick 5. But without a doubt, Mock Impact, he's going to merit a lot of respect. And if he shows up, the same horse shows up that we saw maybe a few starts ago, good luck beating him.
Yeah, this is a 8,000 condition claimer.
Big drop.
This is bigger than big. This is atomic. This is Mock.
Yep.
This is Mock.
It's big. It is big.
Okay, so let's take a look at Mock Impact, who's going to be my top pick in here. And we're going to look on November the 14th. Because that is the last time that he raced in an 8 claimer. And this that we're going to show you here, this is a straight 8. Straight 8 is always way tougher than an 8 condition claimer. So here we go with Mock Impact. And like I said, his last 2 starts, 10,000 claimer, straight 18,000 claimer straight, both handicap, but both straight claimers in there, racing against Let's Get Rock, Code Cracker. But this one here, where he races in a straight 8,000 claimer, how much the best was he? And like I said, he's been racing all along. He doesn't have a stale date to work with. He went way up over his head. Now, not only does he drop into an 8, but he drops into a condition 8, even a cheaper race than what he's facing in here. I say that he is the horse to beat. But you obviously like somebody else, so where'd you go?
You know what? I did use him on top, but I just maybe used 3 or 4 others in the event that he doesn't show up. I've seen some lackluster performances from him in the past. I mean, I think consistency obviously has been a bit of an issue with him as of late. I mean, I think that's why we see him racing at this $8,000 level consistently. But I agree with you, Randy. I mean, he's tough to look past, but because I have a couple of singles on the back end and potentially a couple of value players, I just said, I don't want to, go dead on an 8 claimer race. So I'd rather have a little bit of coverage and just hope that maybe I can deliver a price.
How deep did you go?
I think I might have gone 4 or 5 in this.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, in the event that Mock Impact doesn't show up, because I've seen it in the past.
Okay, a couple I got to ask you about then. Okay, number 1, Bryant Sealster from the 10 hole. Looks like he was just claimed off of Ross Batten, making some shoeing changes tonight for Jason McGinnis. I put him in for second.
Okay.
Dan Speed, did you use him?
I used him on the pick 5
I got him in for
yeah.
third. I thought this to me is the one that kind of bothers me the most, I would say.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, that's a horse coming off a sharp effort as well. But again, just 1 for 26. But Mock Impact, 3-1 on the morning line, but he's going to be much shorter than that, especially given that effort that you highlighted a few starts ago.
Condition, claimer.
Big drop.
This is a huge drop.
All right, we're going to move on to race number 11 here. That's going to kick off that late double. And that's going to be 2 more legs a part of that late pick 5, that final one. And hard to look past the 6-horse Dusty Lane Levi, though, Randy, because he's just been dynamite over his last few tries. Intego on Saturday, I believe, as well. So double entered, going to race tonight, Intego Saturday. I think potentially against tougher company, but look, middle of the gate draw here in this spot off 3 straight victories. Make a case trying to beat him. You've got somebody in here?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
Yeah, not only do I have somebody, but I'm pretty sure I'm using this guy as a free square.
Love it.
In my pick 5. Dusty Lane Levi, I have him in for second. He came back on that last win on a 5-day rotation, so I don't think him coming right back quickly is going to bother this guy, and he keeps coming. That last start was in a straight non-winners of 2. Now he comes back to the 20,000 condition claimer, so definitely a horse that is on his game. But I think that there was another horse that was on his game big time when he was racing in this class. And let's take a look at Wicked Express. But before we show you that replay on him, so this horse here, he missed a little bit of time. Now, you look at his 2 bottom lines. He was in against horses like Rusty's Bet, Smiles for Miles, okay? He was the absolute epitome of this 20,000 condition non-winners of 30. They couldn't touch him. They seriously could not touch this horse. And then he misses some time. He misses from October the 30th to November the 24th. And, he makes multiple moves, finishes third, but only beat 3/4 of a length for Dougie in there. So then he comes back on the 7-day rotation for Louis Waugh, and he wins this race in against Smiles for Miles, annihilates, wins by 4. Then his next start, he heads into the straight 20 claimer. Not the 20 condition claimer, the straight 20 claimer, in against horses like Let's Get Rock, Code Cracker, those kinds of horses. I think that they would eat this class. And he has the 8 hole, another big chop, doesn't work out for him, ends up finishing 6. What does Kyle Fellows do? Drops him back down into this 20 condition claimer. I think that he is the best horse in this race. So let's take a look at Wicked Express. 2 starts ago, December the 1st, when he was racing in this same class from the 8 hole. This week he's got the rail. But, let's see how strong he was in 52. And remember, too, he got bet down to 55 cents on the dollar. So, what I would consider to be a huge effort in here. Now coming back to this class, picks up the rail. The only thing that I'm kind of missing right here is the fact that I'm not going to get Louis Waugh and I'm not going to get McNair. Now I'm kind of in a, who do I get? But whoever I do get, I hope that they're watching that this is a live horse in this race.
Big time. You could see on that replay on that victory a couple of starts ago, I should say, is that Louis wanted to angle him off the pocket or pull the pocket quickly. I mean, he was not waiting till the head of the lane. He had so much horse, and it showed during that stretch drive there. And again, 1-2 got pounded in the betting there, 1-2, and he certainly delivered as the race favorite in that spot. So definitely one that merits, I think, a lot of respect, without a doubt, here in this spot, Randy. I'm going to use him underneath tonight. I'm just going to ride the wave with Dusty Lane Levi because I think he's razor sharp. But I'll tell you what, like you said, whoever picks up this drive, super, super live drive. And there's a couple of them that Doug and Bob, I mean, both of them not with us here tonight. There's some live drives for the both of them, right? Handsome Sebastian as well as Passerino, two horses that we never got a chance to touch on. And Wicked Express definitely in that mix as well. We're going to move on to race number 12. That's going to close out this program. And that jackpot high five continues to rise. And we were supposed to have a mandatory payout on Boxing Day. That is going to be pushed to Saturday. And wait until you get a chance to see the entries, Randy, on that mandatory.
You said it's huge, eh?
That's the deepest mandatory payout class I've ever seen, maybe ever, in a mandatory payout. I think it's basically the Fillies and Mares
you said minus Grit and Grace.
With the exception of Grit and Grace. So that's how tough. You've got horses from 1 through 12 that all have a chance depending on the trip. So a really, really deep group. I mean, normally we're accustomed to maybe seeing like, there's been at times where we've seen claimers in the mandatory payout. At times we've seen like a non-winners of 9,000 class. We're getting like top pacing mares to close out the card on Saturday night to be a part of this mandatory payout. Loaded for bear on Saturday. So I'm hopefully that pool can continue to rise because it's going to be a great wagering opportunity. Again, you just have to wait a day later. Instead of Boxing Day, it is going to be on Saturday. But so you wait an extra day for what's going to be a great wagering opportunity. So we're looking forward to it as well. But I'm looking forward to see what Cadiddle can do yet again because we did not expect that winning effort last time out. Scott Young picked up the drive. I know Phil opted to go to Wild Turkey Hanover. And for the first time in quite some time, we saw gate speed from her. Not something that we've seen,
And then when he moved her the second time, she was huge.
Yep.
So let's take a look at the replay for Cadiddle. And she went into that last race, that last win on a 2-week vacation. You know, she hadn't done anything in 2 weeks. Duford had her ready to go, but Scotty Young gave her an absolutely beautiful, beautiful trip. And like John said, you know, you could really notice it coming from the 6th hole when he just launched her out of there, and she easily was able to get herself into a good spot. Still had good go on the end of it. I mean, that's Manoa that she's going to come off. This one's back now. Manoa had missed a little bit of time as well. Maybe this one's going to be a little bit stronger, but he's a 3-year-old green shoe. This is a 4-year-old Cadabra. I'll always give a 4-year-old a little bit more leeway as opposed to a 3-year-old, and plus this 4-year-old, you know, not going to be picking up Phil Houdon that just won with this one, not going to be picking up Scott Young that just won with this one. So who's left to deal with? Let's use James McDonald. Not a bad pickup.
No, and picking up a mare that's razor sharp and is going to benefit from maybe having an extra scratch to her inside. I was intrigued with Give Me a Yankee. I thought that was a good effort by him last time out. I know James opting to go to Cadiddle's direction here in this spot. But again, Manoa, Flash Chat, Veracruz, a pretty deep field here in the finale.
Yeah, really good racing bunch in here right now too. And it actually, you know, Flash Chap, obviously she's going to find things a little bit tougher from drawing the outside, but with the scratch of Florida guy, it actually helps her a little bit too.
She's got gate speed too, but again, there's going to be some speed to her inside. That's the biggest thing.
Lots.
Veracruz is going to be leaving. Give Me a Yankee could be floating out of there, and you have to figure Manoa is going to be leaving as well. So a competitive way to close out this Monday night program. And we mentioned how much we like this card, or how much I like this card. I think there's plenty of opportunities to have some success from a wagering standpoint. And let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can help some people out, though, Randy, and let's provide some multi-leg ideas here. And let's look at your early pick 5. Take a look. We said the opener was a wide open affair, and
wide open.
You definitely feel the same way because you're going deep in leg number 1.
Yeah, really deep. That's way deep for me there, going 6 deep in here, but there's just so many of them that I like. You know, I mean, I didn't use Dahlquist Hanover. I just think that he's in deep enough there that no matter what he brings, somebody's going to have the answer to it. So very deep in race number 1. Race number 2, I'm using Stormont Full of Life and Tie Game. Race number 3, my single's going to be Passerino. Losing my driver, but I really do think that Passerino is going to be coming up with a nice one. Race number 4, 3 deep, I'm using interesting Bayfield Beach heading into the claimers. I'm going to throw him in there, and then the 6, Let's Get Rocked. Code Cracker coming back with that one. And then in race number 5, using Fateful and YS Queen Beth.
You and I taking the same approach in that last leg. I'm okay with using Fateful as well as YS Queen Beth to close
you went
things
deep
out.
in the second
I went
leg.
deep in legs 2 and leg 4 because I said, you know what, I'm going to single a horse in leg number 1, and I'm going to single a horse in leg number 3 that I think could provide some value You and I both going with the single in race number 3. You're going to Passerino. I'm really intrigued with Victor Invictus. I think, obviously, Carm's barn heating up with the 3 winners on Saturday. Always like seeing horses go into Carm's care for the first time. And I think I don't even know if we've ever seen a barn change. I can't remember for Victor Invictus as well. So this is going to be a fresh set of eyes, fresh set of hands here with James McDonald picking up Lasix for the first time. Passerino, to me, scares me in a big way, though. But I'm hoping I can work out a trip sitting behind him and deliver. But I'm all in the opener with our Peaky Blinders. Last time he was paired up with Louis, it was all systems go. So, again, we have the same approach in terms of having a single. We just went different directions. But where did you put Victor Invictus?
Didn't use him.
You didn't use him,
and,
okay.
And the biggest reason why I like everything that you said about him, but the biggest reason why I didn't use him is because he's a 9-year-old that's never left home.
Okay.
And that makes me wonder how he's going to adjust to Carmen's schedule. You know, he's always had Joey Nicholson looking after him. He's always been in Duford's barn, always been on their routine. Now things are going to change. Either it's going to work his way or it's not going to work his way, you know? So we're going to find out. I'm going to do a wait-and-see approach, John.
All right, and some mid-pick 5 ticket ideas. Randy, for you, you're going deep in leg number 1 yet again, and I don't blame you. Again, non-winners of 1 trot. Tough class.
Yeah, like my top pick in there is Dulcis Swale Dano. It's hard to put all your marbles on that one. So I'm going to go all in that opening leg. There we go. All in the opening leg. Race number 7. Who did my single in there, John? That's going to be Mock Impact.
Yep.
Love him in there. Race 8, Too Deep. Race number 9, the only other single is going to be Shampoo Girl. Again, I don't mind coming back with her. I think that she's dropping back down into that class. She's going to be tough.
All right, and 3 deep to close things out. And my mid-pick 5, again, same thing as last time, Randy. We both go with the single in race number 9, but I'm going to go back to French Vodka. And I'm okay going too deep in leg number 1, but I do know that's a bit of a risk. So I'll go deep in race number 7. I know Mock Impact, the one to beat, just in case he falters. Feel pretty good about having some coverage there as well. And I'm going to close things out with a single in race number 10 with Handsome Sebastian. You want to talk about live drives. He missed a month. Going to that most recent effort. He's got a good draw to work with here tonight. I think he's going to be, whoever picks him up is going to pick up a super live drive. And if he's on his game, he's the one to beat without a doubt. But some late pick 5 ticket ideas, though, Randy, and you're going to hit the all button in race number 10. You didn't do that for the mid pick 5, but you're going to do that for the late one.
Yeah, from the late one. Going to change things up completely in here as well. So race number 1 or 9 is going to be the single of the 1-horse Shampoo Girl. All in race number 10. I also got Handsome Sebastian on top, but I don't know if you noticed it last week, last start, John. He got rough a couple of times. So whoever picks him up, trust me, he got a little rough a couple of times last week. Then so that's going to be an all, and then the single in the last race is going to be Cadiddle.
I'm with you. Cadiddle for me is going to be a single in that late pick 5 for me as well, but I'm just going to have a bunch of singles to close things out. Again, race number 8. Different than what I did in the mid-pick 5. I'll go deep in the late one and then just 4 consecutive singles. And I just like those horses, so I'm not going to try and play against them. But I think I'm going to need some help without a doubt. But feel pretty good about that ticket. I think I've got $5 laying around anyways. So I might be able to take a stab on that. All right, so there's our pick 5 ticket ideas. Our plays of the night are going to be highlighted throughout the night. We kind of probably got an idea of maybe what Randy and I really like in some of those races as well. But we're going to be with you all night long here on this Monday night program. We're looking forward to it, and let's make some money before Christmas.